Hey everybody, Marlon Egolf here for Draftmagic. We're doing another modern deck this week, and this time it is Modern Shamans. I was reading an article on the Mothership, that's magicthegathering.com, and last Friday Brian David Marshall was talking about results of the first Modern Daily event, and I was looking through those, and there was a 4-0 deck that was Shamans. And I thought, is this just some amazing aggro deck with a Rage Forger combo finish, or was that just a complete fluke? So I decided to give it a shot, although I did make some changes. First of all, looking at the guy's list, it appeared as though it was actually a budget deck. He didn't play any Stomping Grounds. He had Carplusian Forests instead, which, I mean, I also have, but are just much worse. Didn't have any Stomping Grounds. There were some sideboard choices. He had Goblin Ruin Blasters instead of Fulminator Mage, which are basically, I wouldn't say strictly worse, but generally worse most of the time, since they take a full turn extra and you can't fetch them with Flamekin Harbinger. But I don't know. Fulminator Mage might be a couple dollars. I don't know. I had these already, so it looked like he was kind of going for more of a budget list. So anyway, my list, I changed a couple things in his list, from his list. First of all, he was playing 22 lands, which sometimes isn't enough. You really don't need more than 4 land in this deck, ever. Oftentimes, not even that much. But I added another land, I just didn't like my consistent 1-land openers. He played 4 Lightning Bolts and 4 Burst Lightnings. I put 2 Burst Lightnings in the sideboard since they're just really not good against a lot of decks. He was playing Lead the Stampede. I think he played 3 or 4. I've done some testing with this deck, by the way. I probably played about 15 to 20 games. And I found that Lead the Stampede was generally awful. So I went down to a 1, just as kind of like a miser's card. He also didn't have any Leaf Crowned Elders. I added a couple. Sometimes they suck. They're usually the first card to side out, but sometimes they're actually really good. They help a lot with Flamekin Harbinger, since you can Leaf Crown Flamekin Harbinger and you just get to play the card that you tutored for right away. They can just add a lot of card advantage, and they're actually the biggest body that this deck has. So that's relevant there. The rest of the choices, removal spells, Flamekin Harbingers, I went down to 3, since oftentimes you'll have a 2-land hand with the Flamekin Harbinger, and you don't really want to play the Harbinger and miss your next draw, which could be a land. So I went down to 3 because they are pretty good in this matchup. They help search for things like Rage Forger, which is basically the way the deck wins. It just gives your guys a permanent pump, and if you have multiple Rage Forgers, I don't think I've ever lost a game where I've had multiple Rage Forgers, because they both trigger twice. So you just attacking is usually good for about 10 damage before you even deal any damage. We got the 1 Spite Bellows. Let me actually change this to converted mana cost. My computer's running a little slowly now, I apologize. Spite Bellows is another card to search up with Flamekin Harbinger, just to take care of any larger problematic cards, maybe a Doran or a Tarmogoyf, even like a Master of Ethereum or something like that. 2 drops, you have Boss Banneret, which is awesome in this deck. Probably the best card for the way that makes the deck run. You usually Boss Banneret, then next turn drop like Visionary, Wolfskull Shaman, Rage Forger, like something crazy. Visionary's useful. It comes out against a lot of decks, just because playing a 1/1 that replaces itself on turn 2, you'd rather be doing better things. Fauna Shaman, pretty good in this deck. Only running 3 of them, because they can be redundant, but it helps you get whatever you need. It's definitely better than Flamekin Harbinger in that regard, but it is also a target for removal. Wolfskull Shaman, just another value creature. It's basically just one of the more solid shaman creatures you can have. Makes a little army over the course of a couple of turns. So that's also relevant if you're trying to play around mass removal. You can usually just stick a Wolfskull Shaman and just wait, and eventually you'll have a bunch of wolves and they'll have to wrath and they won't get any card advantage from you. 31 over Rage Forger. This guy's original list had a Fython Renegades, the 3/2 for 3 that destroys an artifact when it comes into play. Switch it with Sylvok Replica, which is also a Shaman and can take care of things like Pyromancer Ascension and Hive Mind, you know, stuff like that. It's 1 extra mana, but the versatility is worth it. Bloodbraid Elf, not a Shaman, unfortunately, but it's basically guaranteed to hit something useful. I'm still not sure if it would be better used on with a different card that's more thematic, other than just a very good creature. But I've never been really unhappy with having a Bloodbraid Elf, so I've kept them in the deck. Leaf Crowned Elder, obviously the card advantage, everything in here is a Shaman except for the Bloodbraid Elf and the Spite Bellows, but this is usually just a card you tutor for if you need to kill something big. Sideboard, you have Burst Lightning against aggro decks. There's 3 Obstinate Baloth against decks like Red Deck Winds, and even like Jund, if you happen to face that. I haven't really faced any Jund. Viridian Shamans, they are Shamans. Good against Affinity, which is popular in line since it's cheap. Nature's Claim against various decks with enchantments and artifacts. Better than, say, like a Burst Lightning against Affinity, since it takes care of Cranial Plating. And it also kills Pyromancer's Ascension. Sylvok Replica, just another redundant copy against decks that you need to kill artifacts and enchantments. And Fulminator Mage against any Cloudpost decks, or anything like that. Decks that obviously need non-basic lands. Not sure if I should have more ways to combat Cloudpost. I'm sure it couldn't hurt. Maybe cut down on Obstinate Baloth or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to take the deck through some games, or matches. I'm going to record everything, but there are some I might delete if I face off against any like completely irrelevant decks. The tournament practice room right now seems to be, you know, the quality of decks seem to be pretty decent, but you know, I'd say probably 1 out of every 5 matches that you just play against some ridiculous jank deck, and there's really no reason for me to record testing against something horrible. So, but other than that, hopefully I'll face against some actual matches in the format, and I can beat them. But, I mean, that's not really the point here. It's more to figure out if this is a viable deck, or if this was just a ridiculous fluke that let this guy 4-0 that event. I'm leaning more towards fluke, but you never know. I think I've made some positive changes. I haven't actually played the deck. I upgraded the sideboard, Nature's Claims and whatnot, and I haven't actually played the deck since then. So we'll give it a shot and see how well it does.